and so today I'm going to talk about my everyday kind of must-have staple products. So whether that's skincare or makeup, these are all the things that I reach for on a daily basis. This is actually the first video I filmed in probably a couple of weeks. I had a few pre-recorded because I've just come back from holiday, so it feels a bit strange. I feel like I'm already getting my words wrong and things aren't coming out right. I just want to quickly say a massive thank you to everyone though, because I actually reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is just a number that I can't even comprehend. Like, if you put that many people in front of me, it's just crazy. And I think I have Estee from Essie Button to thank a lot for it, because she actually mentioned me in her August favourites video, which is so lovely of her, because she's one of my absolute favourite YouTubers too. So thank you, Estee, and thank you to everyone who subscribes to me and continues to watch my videos and actually likes what I do. It means so much to me, and it's just amazing to see, you know, so many people actually appreciate what I do, so thank you. So big emotional gushing moment over. Now let's talk about skincare. So in this video you're probably going to see a lot of products that I talk a lot about, and with my skincare I did mention in my last video that I've kind of fallen into a really great routine. I'm using a kind of range of products that work really well together that I'm really enjoying, so I will do a separate skincare routine video for you soon. So I didn't want to talk about too many of the products that I'll be mentioning in this video as well, but there are a few standouts that I just had to mention. So the notorious Emma Hardy cleansing balm is of course sort of my absolute go-to staple products. I do only use this in the evening now, but it's the only thing that I can kind of trust to get my makeup off and to cleanse my skin properly. It's just a beautiful rich balm, and I have tried quite a few other ones, and I'm always on the lookout to try something a little bit different if anyone thinks they've found something better than this. But I just think it's the perfect combination of, you know, really hydrating, really moisturising, goes on incredibly smoothly, but it isn't too greasy at all, and when you wipe it off with a muslin cloth your skin just feels so plumped and supple and amazing. So this is just the absolute best cleanser in my eyes at the moment. I've had a few people say that you can use this as a mask, either a kind of like 10-minute treatment or an overnight mask, so if anybody has used it in that way, please let me know how you get on with it, because I think that would be a really interesting thing to do with it. So my next skincare staple is actually an eye cream, and I think eye cream is a really funny product in that there isn't like a massive coveted list of all the different eye creams that people want to try. They aren't really thought about too much when it comes to skincare, but they are so important, and I do actually use one every day, every night, but it doesn't really, I don't really think about it too much, which is strange. But actually the Bobbi Brown hydrating eye cream is something that I really probably couldn't live without. So I actually bought this on kind of a whim. I was being matched up at the Bobbi Brown counter for a concealer, and I was saying to the makeup artist that my concealer always creases and always looks quite dry, and she told me it was probably because I wasn't using an eye cream or a good enough one. So I was kind of surprised by that, because I'd always been using the Origins ginseng eye cream, which I still love and I still use sometimes, but she said it was probably best that I try this one, which is the complete sales tactic obviously, but actually I have just fallen in love with it. It's really rich, but it's not heavy at all. I think with some eye creams you can go wrong in getting one that's too rich and too thick, and it just kind of weighs the eyes down, but this one's incredibly light feeling, really fresh, but really hydrating. So I don't think my concealer would look right, I don't think any of my makeup on my eye area would look right unless I use this, so this is definitely a staple in my skincare routine. Another product that I think is so important, and I probably just couldn't live without, this is probably my desert island product I guess, is an SPF, and in particular the Kiehl's Ultralight Daily UV Defense SPF 50, and this stuff I just absolutely worship. It's incredible. It's the highest SPF I've probably come across that isn't sticky or tacky, or, you know, doesn't leave your skin white at all. I think it's hard to find the balance of ones that aren't too thick but are going to give you a decent protection. I know this won't be the kind of thing that everybody's too concerned about, but for me, you know, come rain or shine, I make sure that I'm wearing this just so, you know, maybe in 20 or 30 years time you'll be able to tell that I actually took care of my skin and it's not too lined and too wrinkled, hopefully. So the very last skincare thing I have here is again kind of an obvious one, and it's the NYX Rêve de Mille lip balm, and of course I use lip balm every single day, you know, multiple times throughout the day as much as I can, because I do get quite dry, chapped lips, you know, however much water I tend to drink or how hydrated I am, my lips just seem to be a dry, chapped mess. So I do have to admit I was quite a lip balm addict in the past. I seem to buy a new one every week, but recently I've kind of stripped down my collection to the very bare minimum, because I mean this stuff really is all you need. It's an incredibly rich, you know, thick moisturising balm. I've actually had this for a really long time as well, and the dent in there is just absolutely nothing, so amazing value for money because you barely need any at all. It's just going to last forever, and it's in quite a snazzy, nice little pot as well. So moving on to the makeup section of this video, and I had to kind of think about this one quite a lot because I am a makeup hoarder. I have so many products and I tend to switch them up on a daily basis. but there are a few things that I absolutely have to use every single day, things that I just can't go without. So the first one of those is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Dim Light, and it probably shows from how many times I've mentioned this in a video, you know, how much I actually rely on this stuff. And it's kind of funny because I was never a powder girl. I just didn't like it at all. I only used it when it was absolutely necessary, but this stuff has just kind of changed my whole opinion of that. It is a powder, but that's a real kind of loose description of it. It's very, very light. You can barely see it at all on the skin, but actually it doesn't add any kind of mattifying effect. It just adds a glow, so it keeps your skin kind of controlled and oil free, but it gives it that amazing kind of radiance as if you're just wearing, you know, really dewy, really glowy foundation. I know quite a lot of people think this is incredibly overpriced, and I do have to admit when I actually bought it I was kind of shocked at how much it cost. But just the fact that I use it every single day, I mean, I've barely even scratched the surface. I think it's going to last such a long time, and just for how incredibly radiant it makes my skin look, it's definitely worth it, and definitely an everyday staple for me. So one that doesn't quite fall into the makeup category but still kind of is part of my makeup routine is the Real Techniques buffing brush, and this is what I use to apply my foundation on a daily basis. So whether it's, you know, an actual full coverage foundation or tinted moisturiser or BB cream, whatever base I'm wearing, I always use this to put it on. I did go through a short phase of really loving the Eclat face brush, which is also from Real Techniques, but I did go back to this in the end. I just think it's unrivaled in what it does. It's really kind of densely packed but not too thick, so it doesn't get too much product on, but it buffs in really smoothly, gives you just a flawless base. I was actually using just a regular flat foundation brush the other day to put my makeup on, and I couldn't believe the difference between the two, that it just took so long to kind of blend and get kind of like streak free and get all over the face, whereas this one is just so quick and easy, and it just gives you such a natural finish. The only thing I did wish is that you could buy these singly rather than having to buy the entire core collection, which is what it comes in, along with 3 other brushes, but for now I would probably go out and buy that all over again just to have a couple more of them because it's just an amazing brush. So my next makeup staple is the Bobbi Brown corrector, and when I first bought this I really didn't get on with it. I think I got it on pretty much a whim because everybody else in the world seemed to have one and was raving about it and loved it, and I do get really bad dark circles, so I thought this would be the perfect thing to kind of hide those. So the first time I used this I just put way too much on. I literally got a whole scoop out and put it underneath both of my eyes, and it just ended up creasing and looking really bad, so I kind of chucked it away in a drawer and didn't think about it for 6 months. So a couple of months after that I actually found it again and I decided to give it another go, and I'm so glad I did because I fell in love with it. It's just an incredible product. For someone like me who just gets the worst kind of blue undertone dark circles, this is just the perfect thing to kind of correct that. So it's very kind of warm in colour. I've got the shade Bisque, and I just put literally the smallest little dot under my eye, barely any on my finger at all, and really press it in until it's kind of melted away, and then my concealer on top, and it just really does more so than the concealer would do on its own. I think sometimes they can just look quite grey and ashy when you try to cover up dark circles, but with this underneath that just doesn't happen at all. It's nice and warm, and it just kind of balances everything out, and it just looks amazing. So although I kind of chop and change with my concealers, at the moment I'm kind of torn between the Origins one, which I've used for so long, and the new NARS Creamy Concealer, which I really like, but always will have this underneath. So it's definitely an everyday product that I couldn't live without. So my very last makeup staple, and probably the one I would choose if I had to over all of those products I just mentioned, is the No. 7 Stay Perfect Mascara. I talk about quite a lot how hard I find it to get mascaras that don't smudge on me. I don't know if it's because of my skin type or just the way my eyelashes are, but whatever I put on my bottom lashes just seems to smudge after pretty much half an hour of putting it on. It actually got to a point where I just stopped wearing mascara on my bottom lashes altogether. It just annoyed me so much. But that was until I found this, and I think the key to it is that it's a tubing mascara, so when you take this off it kind of comes off in little lashes, and it kind of looks like all of your natural lashes have fallen out, which is a bit worrying, but it actually just coats all the way around them, which I guess kind of creates a seal against, you know, heat and smudging and water and all sorts of things like that. What's good about this too is it doesn't flake either. So with most mascaras that claim to be sort of smudge proof, they're usually more of a fibre based formula because I guess that helps them clean the lashes, but they do end up crumbling off after a few hours. But I find this one just does none of that. I do only stick to using this on the bottom lashes though. I think when I put it all over it doesn't quite give me enough kind of length and volume. It's more of a very natural looking mascara, which is great from just having a really simple makeup day, but definitely an everyday must have for my bottom lashes. So those are my everyday makeup and skincare staples, things that I just could not go a day without. So let me know what yours are. If you've got one thing that you use on a daily basis that you couldn't not have, what would it be? And I will see you on my next video.